Part 1. Gentlemen, let me ask you something directly. Have you convinced yourself that once you reach this stage of life, the only way to capture a woman's attention is with wealth, luxury, or youthful looks? That without a large bank account, a flashy car, or thick dark hair, you simply fade into the background? If that belief has settled into your mind, pause for a moment, because it's built on a misconception that has been repeated for decades. Attraction, especially at this point in life, is not constructed from money, appearance, or competing with younger men. There is a different kind of influence, quieter, deeper, and far more compelling. Many men over 60 already possess it, yet few have ever learned how to consciously use it. Once you begin tapping into it, the shift is unmistakable. People start reacting to you differently. Women notice your presence without you trying. They respond to a calm certainty, a grounded confidence, and a sense of depth that typically takes years to develop. This isn't about cosmetic fixes, flashy displays, or quick tricks. It's about learning to stand firmly in who you are. What's remarkable is that this transformation doesn't require hours of effort. Just a few minutes each day can gradually change how you carry yourself, how others perceive you, and how you recognize your own worth. Stick with me, because I'm going to share a simple daily approach that helps men stop chasing attention and begin radiating a natural magnetism instead. But before we go further, if you're ready to rebuild your confidence and attract women without gimmicks or games, take a moment to like the video, leave a comment telling me where you're watching from, and subscribe. Here on Stoic Heart, we talk every week about attraction, confidence, vitality, and how to remain grounded, strong, and charismatic after 60. Now, let's dismantle one of the most damaging myths. Society often suggests that once a man passes 60, he becomes invisible unless he is wealthy, famous, or exceptionally handsome. That simply doesn't match reality. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s become far more attractive than they ever were in their younger years. Not because they suddenly looked younger, but because they finally embodied maturity, emotional steadiness, and genuine self-respect. And that is what many women truly respond to. They are not searching for more immaturity or constant validation seeking. Many are tired of insecurity, performance, and emotional turbulence. What stands out now is calmness, presence, and quiet wisdom. A man who knows himself and doesn't feel the need to prove it every few minutes. That, gentlemen, is your advantage. You've lived through decades of experiences. You've faced setbacks, built things, lost things, learned lessons, and kept going. That history gives you something younger men cannot imitate: depth. The issue isn't that you lack value. The issue is that no one taught you how to translate that value into presence. This is where outcome independence comes in. It means your confidence no longer depends on whether a woman approves of you, desires you, texts you back, or validates you. When you stop needing a specific result, your energy changes. You become more relaxed, more centered, more grounded. And ironically, that makes you more attractive. Desperation pushes people away, but self-possession draws them in. Let's look at 3 common mistakes many men over 60 make in dating, and what to do differently. The first mistake is chasing instead of attracting. Many men still believe attraction comes from impressing women, proving they are still desirable, or showcasing money and status. But that energy often feels forced. It communicates neediness. The harder you try to win someone over, the more it suggests your value depends on her response. A stronger approach is to stop pursuing approval and start embodying contentment. When you are genuinely comfortable with yourself, your energy shifts. Instead of reaching outward, people begin leaning toward you naturally. The second mistake is tying your worth to a woman's reaction. The moment a man begins asking himself, "Do I still have it? Does she find me attractive? Am I enough?" he hands over his power. He becomes tense, cautious, and overly self-aware. Rather than being present, he starts performing. But real confidence doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from recognizing your value before anyone confirms it. When your self-worth is no longer attached to her response, you become calmer, steadier, and far more compelling. A woman can sense the difference between a man seeking approval and a man who enjoys her company while remaining centered in himself. The third mistake is competing in areas where age was never your greatest strength. Too many men try to play the youth game. They obsess over looking decades younger, dressing like younger men, or trying to outshine someone half their age. But that isn't where your real power lies. You don't need to become younger. You need to become more grounded. What many women respond to isn't boyish energy. It's stability, emotional control, and quiet confidence. A man who is comfortable in his own skin, who doesn't rush, who doesn't posture, and who doesn't crumble under pressure. That's real strength. So how do you cultivate this kind of presence? I teach a simple daily method that takes roughly 12 minutes. Think of it as resetting your mind and energy. The first step is contentment rehearsal. Sit quietly and imagine your life exactly as it is, without needing outside validation to feel complete. No chasing, no dependency, just the feeling that your life already holds meaning and value. This trains your mind to move away from scarcity and toward inner stability. The second step is agenda-free visualization. Picture yourself interacting with an attractive woman, but remove the pressure. You're not trying to get a number, a date, or any outcome. You're simply enjoying the moment, relaxed and fully present. This conditions your mind to stop grasping and start connecting. The third step is self-appreciation. Spend a few minutes reflecting on your strengths, resilience, accomplishments, character, wisdom, and the challenges you've overcome. Not with arrogance and not by comparing yourself to others, but with honesty. You remind yourself that your value exists whether anyone acknowledges it today or not. Here's the paradox. The less desperate you are to attract women, the more attractive you become. Calm confidence is rare. Most people walk around seeking approval. Many men try too hard, talk too much, and unknowingly signal insecurity. But a man who is settled within himself creates a completely different experience. He feels safe, grounded, and authentic. And that matters more than most men realize. Your presence communicates before your words ever do. A woman notices your posture, tone, pace, eye contact, and emotional rhythm long before anything else. If you're tense, she senses tension. If you're restless, she feels pressure. But if you're calm, she relaxes around you. That's why self-mastery matters so deeply. It's not about becoming distant or pretending not to care. It's about freeing yourself from neediness. It's about becoming emotionally steady enough to enjoy connection without clinging to it. One simple exercise that supports this is something I call magnetic breathing. Sit somewhere quiet. Place your hand over your chest. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 2, then exhale for 6. As you release the breath, imagine letting go of the need to be liked, chosen, or validated. Silently repeat, I am already enough. I bring value without force. With consistent practice, this builds a calmer, more centered presence. And that calmness is powerful. Part 2. That quiet calm carries more influence than most men realize. Today, many women are surrounded by constant noise, endless notifications, superficial conversations, and men trying too hard to stand out. Attention is everywhere, but genuine presence is rare. When a man brings steadiness instead of pressure, he feels different. He doesn't overwhelm the moment. He doesn't compete for attention. He creates space. And in that space, people relax. They trust. They become curious. He feels authentic, grounded, and safe to be around. This is where emotional mastery becomes essential. Emotional mastery doesn't mean shutting down your feelings or pretending you don't care. It means guiding your emotions instead of being driven by them. It means staying composed when tension rises, listening without reacting impulsively, and responding thoughtfully instead of defensively. It's the ability to remain centered when things are uncertain. A man who can hold that kind of stability communicates strength without needing to say a word. Many younger men mistake loudness for confidence. They assume being dominant, talkative, or attention-seeking signals strength. But true strength is often subtle. It doesn't demand recognition. It doesn't need to fill every silence. It simply exists with quiet certainty. And when a woman encounters a man with that grounded energy, she senses it immediately. It feels mature. It feels reliable. It feels different from the restless energy she encounters everywhere else. So understand this clearly. You are not past your prime. You are not invisible. You are not disqualified by age. In many ways, you may be entering the most powerful stage of your life if you stop measuring yourself by the wrong standards. This chapter is not about chasing youth or trying to recreate who you were decades ago. It's about stepping fully into presence. It's about embodying calmness, wisdom, and confidence that only time can build. When you begin living from that place, attraction stops feeling like a competition. It no longer feels like you're trying to win someone over. Instead, it becomes a natural response to who you are. Your presence does the work. Your calmness becomes your strength. Your life experience becomes your advantage. And instead of wondering how to make someone like you, you become the kind of man people naturally enjoy being around. Think about how this changes your interactions. You're no longer scanning for signs of approval. You're not analyzing every word you say. You're not trying to impress. You're simply present. You listen. You speak calmly. You move at your own pace. That steadiness creates a completely different dynamic. It removes pressure from the conversation. It allows connection to develop naturally. And that authenticity is far more compelling than any performance. Another important shift happens internally. When you stop chasing validation, your self-image strengthens. You begin to carry yourself differently. Your posture becomes more relaxed yet confident. Your voice steadier. Your eye contact more natural. These subtle signals communicate security. And people respond to that security instinctively. They feel comfortable around you without even knowing why. This is also why non-attachment is so powerful. When you're not focused on securing a specific outcome, you're free to enjoy the moment. You're not forcing chemistry. You're not trying to accelerate anything. You're allowing things to unfold. Ironically, this relaxed approach often creates stronger attraction. Because nothing feels pressured. Nothing feels manipulative. It feels real. There's also a deeper benefit. This mindset improves more than dating. It enhances how you experience life overall. You begin appreciating conversations, environments, and people without constantly evaluating them. You become less reactive, more observant, and more intentional. That grounded perspective makes you feel more fulfilled regardless of outcomes. And fulfillment itself is attractive. Consider the difference between two men. One walks into a room scanning for approval, adjusting himself constantly, trying to impress. The other enters calmly, comfortable in his own skin, not needing attention. The second man doesn't force anything. He simply exists with quiet certainty. Most people gravitate toward that energy because it feels stable and genuine. This is why presence matters more than appearance. A perfectly styled look cannot compensate for insecurity, but calm confidence can elevate even the simplest appearance. When you carry yourself with composure, people perceive you differently. They notice your steadiness before they notice anything else, and that steadiness creates respect. It's also important to remember that emotional steadiness doesn't mean detachment from life. You can still laugh, express interest, and enjoy connection. The difference is that you're not dependent on the outcome. You're engaged but not clinging, warm but not needy, interested but not desperate. That balance is rare and it's incredibly attractive. Over time, this approach becomes natural. You don't have to remind yourself constantly. The daily practice gradually reshapes your mindset. Contentment rehearsal builds inner stability. Agenda-free visualization reduces pressure. Self-appreciation reinforces your value. Magnetic breathing strengthens calmness. Together, these habits create a consistent presence that others can feel. And once that presence becomes part of you, everything changes. Conversations flow more easily. You don't rush, you don't overthink, you don't feel the need to fill silence. You allow moments to breathe. That patience communicates confidence. It shows that you're comfortable with yourself and the situation. Women notice this. They notice the steadiness in your voice, the relaxed rhythm of your speech, the calmness in your movements. These signals create emotional comfort, and comfort is powerful. It opens the door for deeper connection without forcing it. You also begin to experience less disappointment. Because your satisfaction no longer depends on specific outcomes, rejection loses its sting. You remain steady. You understand that attraction is natural, not forced. This resilience makes you more confident over time. Each interaction becomes simply another experience, not a test of your worth. This is the quiet power of self-mastery. It transforms your energy from seeking to offering. Instead of asking for validation, you bring value. Instead of chasing attention, you create calm. Instead of performing, you simply show up as yourself. And that authenticity resonates deeply. So start tomorrow. Give yourself those 12 minutes. Sit quietly. Practice contentment. Visualize interactions without pressure. Reflect on your strengths. Breathe slowly and release the need for approval. Let your energy shift first. The results will follow naturally. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You don't need to become someone else. The qualities that create attraction at this stage of life are already within you. They've been built through experience, challenges, and growth. All you're doing now is bringing them forward. Your presence is your power. Your calmness is your strength. Your wisdom is your advantage. When you live from those qualities, attraction stops being a struggle and becomes a reflection of who you are. If this message spoke to you, like the video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who might benefit from hearing it. And in the comments, tell me your biggest challenge when it comes to dating after 60. Stay strong, stay grounded.